When I first started my lawn care business, I had a client who ended up stiffing me out of $250. They ended up selling their house and they did not pay for service for an entire month that I had completed. Now, I consider myself to be a fairly level-headed person, but I can tell you that I was so mad that I could have physically hurt the husband. Like, I was that upset about the situation. And the truth is, it had very little to do with the money. It was my time that I had spent on this yard. I had went there on 5 separate occasions. I had sweated, I had showed up, I had held up my end of the bargain, and they did not hold up their end. That $250 loss was an amazing learning moment for my business, and it changed my business that very day for the better. In this video, I'm going to explain to you what I do to speed up cash flow in my business while also protecting myself. There are going to be a lot of things you can take away in this video. The only thing that I ask for in return is that you simply hit the like button. Thanks in advance. The very first thing that I do to protect myself with cash flow issues is I require a card on file for all of our lawn care clients. Do you know that client that you have sent your invoice to and they have opened it, but they haven't paid it, and then you send it to them again and they just don't pay? So then you're left in this weird circumstance where, do I go and service the lawn again, or I just stop servicing? We've serviced it 4, 5, 6 times, we haven't been paid. Now what? What a complete waste of emotional energy and just a complete time suck. You know what fixes all those issues? It's requiring a card on file. Number 2 is all of my commercial accounts, they are on a prepayment schedule. They don't do cards on file. I'll actually send them an invoice, but we require them to pay in advance for services that are to be performed that month. If I have commercial clients that are not agreeable to this, then I simply just don't do business with them. Cash flow is really that important to me. There are too many companies who are willing to work with you and pay at the first of the month, rather than you working for an entire month, floating all those costs for performing the services, and then just hoping that they're going to pay within the next 30 days. You very well could do 2 months of services if they have a net 30 from the time that you send the invoice. I am not doing business that way. I am not floating the cost for some huge corporate company. No, you're going to pay me up front for the services to be performed for that month. The next thing that I do is any project over $1,000, I require 50% upfront the week before that project is scheduled to be completed. Now, on smaller jobs, it may not seem like that big of a deal. Let's say if you have a $1,000 landscaping project and you require $500 upfront to cover materials, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. But from my perspective, what if, for example, I was doing a big $10,000, $15,000, or $20,000 landscaping project? If I am responsible for covering all those upfront costs, completing the entire job, and then we get near the end of the job, I very easily could have $10,000 in material costs, I could have $5,000 in labor costs, I could have an enormous amount invested in this project. I am holding all that risk and the client has none of it. Now, I just think it's fair that the client has some skin in the game, and the way that we do that is 50% is required upfront for all of our landscaping projects over $1,000. The key to making this work is having a solid reputation in your community and then effectively communicating with the client. If you're a fly-by-night company, this is simply not going to work, but we have built up a reputation in our area. I'm an effective communicator with our clients, and they trust me. They feel good about making this upfront investment in their project. The next thing that I do is my business has been fully capitalized since we opened the doors to Florida Turf Pros. And saying that a business is fully capitalized is simply just another way of saying grandma's rainy day fund. Dave Ramsey likes to call it the emergency fund, but what I call it the peace of mind fund. To do this, I take all of my operating costs for the month, our employees' payroll, my salary, our overhead costs with rent, utilities, insurances, truck payments, all the stuff that it takes, direct and indirect, to run our business. I take that full number and we have 3 to 6 months of operating costs sitting in the bank. I cannot tell you the peace of mind that it gives me whenever I lay my head down at night and know that I'm not waiting on a big check to come in from a commercial account so I can simply make payroll. Friends, I promise if you take nothing else away from this video, if you will simply sit down and add up all of your operating costs and then just have 3 to 6 months of operating costs in the bank in a fund that you can draw from, I promise you will sleep better at night. Now, there are very large lawn care businesses that rely on a line of credit that acts as their emergency fund. And while I understand the benefit in those unique situations, the vast majority of people watching videos on YouTube would not be served by opening up a line of credit. For example, what is the reason for you even needing a line of credit? It's because you don't have enough cash to cover something, correct? And though the bank can extend you that line of credit, the bank also has the option to call your line of credit. And if you are borrowing money because you don't have the money, and then the bank calls your line of credit, you can see how that can be a major problem. I truly feel like a much simpler and much more conservative approach is for you to act as your own bank. You are your own bank. Set your business up to be fully capitalized so you can sleep well at night. Now, your lawn care business will never be fully capitalized if you do not know how to stack money. Check out this video right here to learn how to make massive profits in your lawn care business so you can become fully capitalized.